Good morning, evening, good night, whatever. I don't know what time of day it is for you. For me, it's morning, and Talib Kweli is here with us.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, man.
Talib Kweli. So many things we need to discuss with you.
I'm ready, man. I'm prepared.
The first couple have nothing to do with you, actually.
Yeah.
Look, man, I'm a Renaissance man. I can take it anywhere.
You're known as a hip-hop visionary, an intellectual, if you will.
Thank
Scholar.
Scholar. You're part of the conscience of the hip-hop world.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll take that.
Django Unchained. Did you like it?
I liked it a lot. It was thoroughly entertaining.
Were you offended by it in any way?
No, I mean, I'm a fan of Quentin Tarantino. I'm a student of his films. I know what I'm going to get when I go see his films.
Right.
I don't think it was a story, slavery was the backdrop of the story, and I think that's where the real debate lies, whether or not slavery should be the backdrop, whether or not you should use a spaghetti western format to tell a story that involves slavery. But once you get past that argument, it was a great story. It wasn't no Pulp Fiction, but it was
good.
It was real good.
Were you okay with the usage of the N-word in the film, the overusage of it?
I don't think that's an issue for Django Unchained. I mean, clearly it's of the time. Clearly the N-word was a word that was used as way more times than 100 times.
It's interesting that you edited yourself in saying the N-word. Do you use the word yourself?
I use it all the time.
Okay.
I was following your lead.
No, go ahead. Do your own thing.
The word nigga in Django Unchained was perfect. You know what? I gotta say this though, because I've been really on my defender Spike Lee lately. When you having arguments and people weighing in on social networks, what the actual argument is gets lost. Spike Lee, even though he's had problems in the past with Quentin using the word nigga in his films, in Reservoir Dogs, in Pulp Fiction, that wasn't Spike's issue with this film. He never said my issue is. That's people assume that was his issue.
So what was his issue?
His issue was slavery is important. My ancestors was such an important topic that if you're gonna make a film about it, it needs to be treated as serious subject matter. And for Quentin Tarantino to treat it just as the backdrop, you make a spaghetti western. The movie, the plot was ridiculous. It wasn't accurate. But I didn't go into that expecting.
You
that.
wanted entertainment,
right? But I think Spike's thing was, and you guys look, Spike made black film when it wasn't hip. He had to break down a lot of doors. So there's a lot of that frustration of, I know that if I wanted to make that film a serious way, no one would give me no money.
I disagree with the premise that because it's in it, you have to make a serious film about it. But
I disagree with that too. I don't think that.
Also, Spike has made serious films, and in making the serious films, made them inaccurately. And then he's jumping at someone else. I just thought that was like, Dick Gregory pointed that out. It's like Malcolm X had these glaring inaccuracies. And that's, frankly, a lot of people's knowledge of Malcolm X is that movie.
But here's the thing. Spike created characters for Malcolm X. He created character Bane in jail as a filmmaking tool because he didn't want to tell the whole. He wanted to
make it shorter.
Yeah. So I think beyond him as a filmmaker, that film was still 3 hours long, and it was a serious topic of Malcolm. Django Unchained is not about slavery.
Right.
And that's where people get caught up, is that slavery in America has never been dealt with honestly. So when a movie comes out that deals with it, people go crazy.
Quentin Tarantino had a press conference after the Golden Globes. They were nominated and so forth and so on. And he was asked a question about the usage of the N-word. And then he actually answered the question, but used the word.
Said nigga?
He said
Quentin Tarantino? Dead nigga storage?
I know.
But he didn't say the N-word. He said it with the ER on it. And when I hear the audio, it makes me feel a certain way, because this was in a setting where you're not playing a character, you're not in a movie. This is real life, someone talking to you. I think that he could have been sensitive in editing the word, but that's just
what you
me.
think. We heard it a million times.
How do you feel about this? That's what I'm doing.
With all respect to Spike Lee and any black person that feels offended by Quentin Tarantino's usage in the movies, I think when you're dealing with white people, we're talking about history, we're talking about culture. I'm not a fan of the N-word, because when you say the N-word, I'm placing it in your head anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
you're not a fan of the term.
The term, the N-word. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of that term. I'd rather you just say nigger. I didn't see the press conference, but I imagine that he's probably just using it in the context of historically or how. I don't particularly have a problem with that. But and it's even harder for us as black people as a hip hop culture when we use the word so much. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a word that can still be used in an offensive way. I haven't personally been offended by it.
Well, he used it in a press conference discussing the use of it in his movie. How do you feel about the N-word being said on the news or giving a speech about that time and era? Like K Fox saying it shouldn't be used at all.
Ever. We've had this conversation a lot this week with K Fox and Tiffany, who works on our show. They believe that in any setting, If you had a white professor who was teaching a course on the 1840s, they should edit the N-word.
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe that, but I mean, again, I'm a wordsmith. Nigger is not the only word. You got gay people who call each other fags. I can't say it on Hot 97.
You already said that you co-sign white people saying the N-word in an academic sense, so you can certainly say that word in an academic sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think gay people call each other fag, and I wouldn't say that you can't do it.
Girls call each other bitch.
Girls call each other bitch, and I wouldn't tell no girl that you can't use the word. I mean, I would hope that my daughter doesn't, and I would hope that I raise her. You know what I'm saying? But I think that the person in jest, we're all adults, you know what I'm saying? And in jest, you could call your girl bitch, whatever bitch, and then someone on the street call you bitch, and it's disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? I think there's different words have context.
Time and place.
The use of Molly in hip hop.
Y'all been talking about that on Hot 97.
Been on it.
Y'all been on it. Y'all been on that.
We've
Molly.
been on the talk of
Y'all been on that
N-word
Molly.
and the N-word.
It happened one night. I was listening to Flex, and he played like 3 club bangers in a row, and I was like, literally 3 songs in a row. The people were like, on that Molly. I was like,
I mean, look, I came into hip hop early 90s when I was in high school. So if I'm a kid listening to Hot 97 in high school, I came in when I started listening to Hot 97 and hip hop radio. The biggest acts of the day were Onyx, Das Effects, Cypress Hill. All of them were promoting heavy marijuana use. All of them. Every single popular hip hop act. Now, I am a believer of the fact, it was a fact that marijuana is far less dangerous than a chemical, like
MDMA.
Right, it's far less dangerous. But it's still drug use, recreational drug use. I don't feel like I'm in a position to judge this generation because every generation has their drugs. Every generation has things they into. Molly is whack. Molly is definitely whack. If you on it, you messing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's just for me. Who am I to judge a generational thing? All I can do in the position I'm in is make records that are not about Molly and hope that my records is and focus on the people who not doing it. I think the funniest thing is when Madonna went to the festival in Miami and she went to a crowd and she's like, "Who's on that Molly?" And the crowd, it was like an EDM thing, and the crowd groaned because they
so done.
Right, come on, really?
But
like,
the name of her album, isn't it MDMA?
It's something like that.
So she's trying to capitalize on the whole Molly trend, but when it comes to the dance music,
she missed that trend madly.
And not only is she late on it, but the real fans of that music, they like, yo, our music is not about that. Hip hop is where EDM was 10 years ago. We'll get over it in a couple years.
But growing up, like you said, like I never drank or smoked in my life, but I know, in the hood, everybody was drinking or smoking, and then when it went anything past that, it was looked upon like, that's like doing chemicals.
But that's an urban myth though, because I used to feel like that, but then when you really look at the history of drug use in the hood, like the whole, it just, you right, it wasn't cool, but just because it wasn't cool, just because it wasn't rap songs, people were still on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
right. People on heroin, on dust, on crack.
But they were definitely making songs
coke.
Against it, like the hip hop.
I mean, think about hip hop. When hip hop started, it was Love Bug Star Ski. Everybody had a ski on the end of their name.
Yeah,
that
back
ski
then.
was for coke. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody was on coke. When hip hop first, Russell Simmons was on dust. Like they was doing heavy drugs. I remember when me and Mos when DMX got caught with some foreign substance in his blunt, right? I remember me and Mos was in the studio with Premier D&D working on Mos Def's debut album, and we were just talking out loud about, man, like crack is whack. How can anybody do crack? And Premier was like,
oh, here we go. So if you already knew where this story was going from the beginning.
We used to smoke woolly, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how it was back in the day, and I had to recognize at that time, like, wow, we can't be so self-righteous and think that it's like people be on drugs, man. People be on drugs, and sometimes it's cool to say you are.
That's in the song. People be on
Send
drugs.
that to the blogs immediately.
Well, hold on. And
Molly says people be on drugs.
You heard the remix of the Blast, right? Doom to Molly. it's time to bring it back. Yo, you pronounce my name, Molly.
I guarantee Coke Boys is doing that song next week.
Right, Harry Frog gonna make the
I guarantee. Molly.
Yo, we should just do it. Why don't we just do that?
Should just do it. Y'all should just do it on y'all show, man.
Yeah, we should do it on the
do
show.
it.
Y'all should have Chinks Drugs up here and then play it for them.
Molly.
So Talib Kweli,
Yeah, man.
you have a show coming up Sunday night
At your house.
at the house that Rosenberg resides in often, SOBs.
I built that house.
You built that
Yeah,
house.
I'm
You and
one of the
Kanye. And,
architects. Sunday night, Gil Scott Heron, rest in peace, used to do an annual Martin Luther King Day concert. And so in the spirit of Gil Scott Heron in spirit of Martin Luther King, in spirit of Black History Month, we are going to do a concert. It's going to be me, the homie Chris Casanova from Brooklyn.
Nice.
The homie Corey Moe from Houston. And we're gonna show out, man. We just get on stage. Hot 97 is involved. Enough is DJing. The show is at SOB Sunday night, January 20th. It'll be a good time.
Perfect. And that's how we're going to celebrate not only Martin Luther King Day, but special because Monday, of course, President Obama gets sworn in.
That's right.
Busy weekend. What's going on with this Blackstar reunion? I thought we were going to get a Blackstar reunion. We got that song Fix Up, produced by Madlib. It was awesome.
That's great.
Started
Great
getting
record.
geared up.
There was one other song.
You already knew?
Right? Yeah.
Oh, no.
And so what's up?
Nothing.
Yeah, then.
You know, me and Mos Def were on tour last year, Rock the Bells.
Yup.
We did a lot of shows. Because we were together in a lot of spaces, we got some music done. We did a few songs, and we talked about this Aretha Franklin mixtape. So we started a lot of music, but then once that tour ended, you know, we got busy, you know, and other things popped up. And I think Mos is in Houston working on a record with Manny Fresh. And so, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Hello.
That's an interesting
that's
combination.
Yeah.
Most always.
Excuse me,
does.
Yasiin Bey.
Yasiin Bey.
Yasiin Bey. Shout out to Yasiin Bey. That's my brother.
Does he feel disrespected if people still call him Mos?
No, I don't think he feels disrespected, but he's definitely interested in getting people to start getting used to Yasiin Bey. So as his brother, I have to check myself.
Right.
I just think Mos Def is just such an ill rap name.
It's arguably the greatest.
It's one of the best ones ever. It's like
Why change?
Yasiin Bey. That's your real name. Like my real name is Luis Diaz, but no one calls me that. Call me Cypher Sales.
Well, you know what's great about Mos? He's one of the greatest, purest artists that I've ever worked with.
Yes.
His art is real, real pure. And it's so pure that he's at the point in his career where Mos Def is something that he feels like belongs to the people, but he don't always want to be Mos Def. You know, it's like it's a brand. It's something you associated with hip hop. You associate with this. And as a man, father, actor, you know, figure in the community, he's just way bigger. And I think at this stage in his life, he kind of wants it to be less about the branding and more about who he is as a person.
Do you think that the Blackstar album will eventually happen?
I don't know.
Toss up.
Yeah, it's a toss-up. You know, but you know what? The great thing about Blackstar is it was never dependent on the output of the album. It was always a show thing. We still do shows constantly. And it was like a lightning in the bottle thing. You know, it was like we did it. Our intention was to do that one album and then do our solo careers. But people loved that album and got so much invested in the album.
One of my favorites.
You know, Cypher, you was there for a lot of it. DJing. Cypher was DJing for us when we started with Blackstar, so he was there at the inception.
Good for you.
Of it.
I was at a Talib Kweli show and Pun pulled a gun on me.
That was a Kweli show?
Mm-hmm.
That was,
Wow.
was that Lyricist Lounge?
No, it was at the Flamingo Club. It might have been
That was
Lyricist
just
Lounge.
Lyricist Lounge.
But that's the first time I ever saw Mos.
Yasiin Bey.
No, Mos.
Back then, yes, it was Mos.
Now, do I think my career would benefit from another? Of course it would. But, you know, you can't just do something because the fans want it. You know, that's not an honest reason to do it.
Well, yeah, Outkast doesn't think that, huh?
Yeah. What's the name of that records?
With the
They got a record.
Pink Matter?
They on a Pink Matter record.
Well,
right?
let's
They
be
did it
clear.
separately.
Andre just wanted his fans to know that that's not an Outkast collaboration.
Oh, did he? Did he make a
He
statement?
made a statement and basically said that this is not an Outkast reunion. There's none of that happening, just to be clear. Like, he went out his way to make that statement. Like,
K-Pop
Big
got her
Boy's
feelings
jumping
hurt.
in on the tail end after the song's already done and then putting his vocals on it after the fact.
Right.
K-Fox's feelings were she was bummed out about this too.
Yeah, because
I
something must have really happened between them where he's coming out of his way to make
Nah,
that
there's-
statement to his fans.
Okay, how about this? What Andre and Big Boy try to get you to believe about Outkast is how it really is with Blackstar. In other words, they pretend it's just we're busy.
Yeah.
We love
We're
each other,
family,
but we're busy.
Yeah.
They really do get along all the time and are busy. I've been around it to see it.
Yeah.
Outkast, we know, really has other issues there that just never seem to get completely
They're private.
right.
Yeah.
And they want you to think it's just timing. It's not really just that. There's definitely more to it than that.
Yeah, I think it's just, you know, it seems to me the artist thing, you know. But I mean, one thing that's interesting about Big Boy is that he's one of the greatest artists we've seen in hip hop. And this is just how dope Andre is.
That's the same thing. I said it to him.
He out
He
rap
just
all these
happens
rappers.
to
He's
be-
making beats. He's writing hooks. He's bringing in Janelle Monáe. He's bringing in
He did his own amazing thing.
He's done a couple of amazing albums, and you know
But he happens to be in a group with the greatest rapper of all.
yeah.
So it doesn't matter. He's in the shadow, no matter how great he is.
Even though if maybe they were separate, you end up thinking of Big Boy as higher than he actually is.
Yeah, I mean, I buy Big Boy's albums. If Big Boy come to town, I'm going to see a show. Like I'm a Big Boy fan. A lot of people are, you know, don't
Same
understand
way.
his
He can rap his
contribution to
ass
hip hop.
off.
Yeah.
I mean, he be busting. He really. I mean, me as a people look at me as a lyricist. I'm looking at Big Boy like, man.
He be saying some crap.
He be saying some crap. That was
another
So I was
quotable.
waiting on
So
another word.
deep.
Another blog. Yeah, people be doing drugs.
number one. We've learned a lot
Boy
today.
be saying some crap.
People be saying some crap.
Let me ask you a question. The first person who ever introduced me to Kanye West was you. What's your relationship with Kanye West? You asked about Mos Def. What's your relationship with Kanye
I already
West?
asked him about that Noisemakers 3 years ago, so
Oh,
you should
okay.
go back in time.
Well, Kanye is now more than just a great rapper producer. He's a force of nature, and like Kanye is such a he's having a baby with Kim Kardashian, so it's like some other level. You know what I'm saying? It's like I went to Tanzania with Justin Timberlake and Cameron Diaz for an MTV show at the height of their fame. And it was like to see the world that is, the security, how you got to move, what goes on, the stress,
Military
the
moves,
drama.
right?
Yeah, I mean, literally, we had like a special ops Navy SEAL dude with us.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, okay, this is a whole different level.
Yeah.
And when Kanye, I see Kanye a couple times a year. I reach out, say whatever he's working on, I might go to the studio, go to the crib, visit. So it's like a check-in thing more than how it used to be where I'm with him all the time. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, God bless Kanye, man. And one thing I could say about him is that he's had conversations with me often about wanting to have children and about his life and about how he feels like children would impact his life. And so a lot of people, especially in the age of social network, everybody has their opinions. Everybody be talking out their ass, saying whatever. And people be real disrespectful about families and relationships. And as people in the public, you gotta just deal with it and let it roll off your shoulder.
We've said our share.
I'm sure you have.
Because it's our job to provoke.
But me as someone who knows that man and as someone who knows what he's gone through and knows what he's contributed to me and to the culture, I'm so happy that him and Kim have a baby.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm happy for him.
sure
If he's
you
happy,
are,
I'm
yeah.
happy.
But no, but it does mean something different to hear from someone who's actually had conversations about how meaningful it is for him to have children personally. Not everyone has those conversations. We're like, what I really need is children.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he's been saying that to me
I'm
for a
scared.
minute.
I'm
He
scared
had a
to have
lyric
kids.
when he's on one of the albums, one of the songs where he said, "My friends show me pictures of their kids,
Yep.
and
I show him pictures of my crib."
cribs." I was around him when he was writing that lyric, so that was a real thing that he was going through.
But would you say you put him on?
No, I was
Because
saying Kanye
he-
put himself on.
All right, you're being modest.
No, I'm not. I'm breaking
Because he was down with Rockefeller and they was sunning him. And it's not until you and Most gave him this other lane where people were like, whoa, what are you doing over there?
Now, I agree with that assessment, but the reason why I say he put himself on is because I didn't do Kanye no favors. You know what I'm saying? I got friends who rap. I got friends from my neighbor who got mad at me because I ain't put them on my album.
Yeah.
I put Kanye on the road, put him on my records because he was that dope and he added to what I was doing. This was before he was Kanye West. This was before he was Kimye. This was just some unknown dude from Chicago.
Yeah.
Had a couple beats, working on Beanie Siegel album, whatever.
Right.
And his output was so great that when I saw what he was coming with, I'm like, that's gonna make me look good.
So you saw what Kanye is now back then, like
Yes,
his
I did.
ideas and his visions and all that stuff.
And not only I saw it, but he saw it. Kanye played me Jesus Walks, and Hey Mama before he had a deal. When he played me Jesus Walks, he's like, that's gonna be my single. And he says on the song, this is my single.
Yeah.
And he played Hey Mama. I'm like, you need to drop that now. It's one of the most beautiful records I ever heard. He's like, no, that's for my second album, which is called Late Registration, which is coming out of my first album. It's called College Dropout. He didn't even have a deal. And I'm like, and so when you talk about manifest destiny and that concept from back in the day, like that's somebody who really said, I'm gonna do this. And I watched him say, I'm gonna do it. I watched him say, I'm gonna be considered the most fashionable rapper ever. And I'm like, no, you're not. What you talking about? He didn't have a deal, but he knew what he was talking about.
Wow.
Whew. On Get 'Em High, where he talks about getting girls because he knows Talib Kweli.
Yeah, because we was on the road. We on the road going city to city. He on Black Planet, seeing who in the cities. That's what we used to do on the road. We used to go on Black Planet, MySpace, whatever.
See what's popping out here.
He was cracking out here.
And he'd be like, I'm out here with Talib Kweli.
Right. Disclaimer, that's a bad idea. Anyone, if y'all on Twitter right now or Tumblr and y'all are just starting your career and you on Facebook, I'm letting you know as an OG, don't do that.
It doesn't always work out.
I went to Carolina to see JB Smooth on Sunday.
Oh, you there?
Yeah.
I was gonna go Sunday.
Yeah, I was
I was supposed to be on the show, and then I got another gig.
So it's nice to see your face all big on the comedy club.
Yeah.
On the #1 comedy club.
Well, you stole all the DJ gigs, so I had to go another route.
I'm
Fucking
coming
douche.
for the comedy thing next. Watch.
You didn't hear about that?
So, son, you step on a comedy stage, I
Beef is
swear to
official.
God, I'll break your legs, yo. I will break your legs and punch you in the throat.
You got the upper echelon top tier DJs, then you got the second, the A, B, and the C, and then you got like people like myself, and D Nice has kind of moved out of it. He's now like officially DJ man, but you got Questlove and Q-Tip, and those are my heroes because it's like, you can still be excited about their music, but still go see them. I don't even plan on working as much as them. I got an album coming out, Prisoner Conscious.
Right. This is just something you do on the side.
No, I know. No, and I don't mind you doing it because
I know real DJs don't mind.
because
It's only the fake
not
DJs
Kweli.
that mind.
Not Kweli, because Kweli, Q-Tip, all like you have such a love for music. Where matter of fact, they've been record collecting forever.
No,
just
I
not
agree.
DJing in public.
I agree.
And now you probably always had turntables. You
Yeah,
know
I
what
always
I'm
had,
saying?
DJs talk about Serato and how it made it easier. Hell yeah, like, cause I have a record collection turtables in my crib. When Serato came out, I'm like, oh, I could leave the crib.
I want to play this music for
Other people
people
do
in a room and make
That makes
them.
sense.
All right, but just don't ever
In your life.
joke.
Don't
Don't
fix
don't
his
fix
lips.
your lips.
Don't fix your
A
lips.
joke.
Good
'Cause
joke.